If he's not gonna play the piano, then tell him to get out of the recital. You know what I mean? Hold on one sec. Yeah, buddy, I gotta make this quick.
Then may I recommend the instant demands? They're flash fried.
Yeah. I don't need the recipe. Just get it out here with a side of frazzled nerves and bring the check while you're at it.
Absolutely.
I needed the reports like yesterday. Hey, buddy, can you replace this one with one that's burnt above ends? Thank you. What was I saying? I've got to work late tonight, honey.
I'm excited about this. I choose. Everyone say I choose. Oh, this has been a fun series. We're learning these. Our life is the sum total of the decisions, the choices that we make in our life. And sometimes our choices are good, and sometimes our choices are not so good. If you're regretting a decision, you don't have to tell us what it is that you've made. Do not point to your spouse as a choice or a decision that you regret. Abort that mission. But today, we are the sum total of the decisions that we make, and the decisions that we're making today will impact who we will become. So let's just jump right in here today. How many of you have ever felt this feeling or said this to yourself, or you can relate to this? I wish I had more time. Anybody ever seen the movie Multiplicity? I wish that I could do that. I love that movie. It was this movie with Michael Keaton, and somehow he figures out how to clone himself, and so he creates one that can do his job, one that can do the chores, and so he could just spend time with his family and love. So I wish I had more time. I wish personally that I had more time to spend with my kids. I wish that I had more time to spend with my family. I wish that I had more time to spend watching sports. I love sports. I wish I had more time for lots of things in life. For you, maybe you relate to kids, or I wish that I had more time to pray, or I wish that I had more time to fish. Anybody wish you had more time to fish? Okay, missed that crowd. All right. They're afraid, that's right. I'm not picking on you, no way. Anybody in here wish they had more time to travel? Man, wouldn't that be nice? Some people are like, yeah. Some are like, yeah, you give me the time, I still don't have the money. So, it's got to go together. So I get that. Wish you had more time to serve. How many of you wish you had more time to mow the yard? How many of you wish you had more time to do the dishes? What would you do if you had more time? Wish you had more time to pay the bills. Wish you had more time. Yes. Wish I had more time for my social media. I would put more filters on my pictures. I would do that. That's something I would do. I've never used the filter to its greatest capacity. But anyways, you ever ask somebody this question? How you doing? What's the answer you usually get back? Good. And then I get this one all the time. Oh, I'm busy. Life's busy. And I catch myself saying that one too, and then I'll go, but it's a good busy. It's a good busy. Not a bad busy, a good busy. Is there a difference between a good busy and a bad busy? I guess there is. But there's, I'm always like, it's a good busy. But I think my point in saying is I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. And then do you ever get that person every once in a while, you ask how they're doing, and they actually tell you how they're doing, and then you're just like, oh man, why did I ask this person how they're doing? Like, it's just one of those things that we ask, and maybe we don't really mean it. So now I'm just going to start saying, good morning, and just awkwardly look at you and let you walk away. He didn't ask me how I was doing. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, common response, how are you doing? No one ever says this. No one ever says, man, I'm just chill. How you doing? Oh, I'm just relaxed. No one ever has that response. Life's just slow. But I get this one every once in a while. Same old. I think this is the truth. If Satan, there's nothing biblical about this. It's just an opinion. That if Satan could, he wouldn't make you bad. He'd make you busy. He doesn't need to make you bad. He'd just make you busy. Because when we're busy, we wish we had more time to do other things. And one of those things I think that we wish we had more time for is Christ. Wish I had more time for Jesus. Wish I had more time for church. Wish I had more time for those things. How many of you often feel like there's too much to do? Like you're rushed, like there are not enough hours in the day? I do wish that like there's just 2 more hours in the day. Just a couple more hours in the day. What would you do with them if you had 2 more hours? Sleep. Exactly right. Exactly right. You sleep when you're dead. I hate that saying. Sleep when you're dead. But here's the truth. Here is the truth. You have time for what you choose to have time for. You have time for what you choose to have time for. Is that not true? Is that not true? We have time for what we want to have time for. Man, sometimes I wish there was a DVR for life. You want to catch up on your favorite shows, you got DVR. You'll watch it in the middle of the night. You'll forgo sleep to catch up on a TV show. So here's the thing. Our decision today, this choice that we're making today, is to learn to choose the important over the urgent. To learn to choose the important over the urgent, because there is a difference. There is a difference. Listen to some of these examples. In business, when you have a business, anybody ever dealt with an angry customer? Yeah, I've dealt with angry Christians. And calming down an angry customer is urgent. That's an urgent thing to do. Building systems that keep customers from getting angry is important. Building systems to keep customers from getting angry is important. Like maybe if you're a place that's so busy, you have more employees. And not just more employees. McDonald's has showed me that more employees does not mean better. Chick-fil-A has shown me that systems make it better. I was at Popeyes one day, God's honest truth. I walk into Popeyes, and it's pandemonium in that place. And I love some Popeyes. And I walk in, it's pandemonium. That place is slammed, and they've got workers running around. And then it was like a 25-minute wait. It's the first time I've ever asked for a refund from a fast food restaurant. I did it calm, kind. I was like, you know what? We stopped by. We got a movie with my kids. Can I just get that money back? Because something happened in the back. And the guy at the counter goes, man, we did not know we were going to get slammed like this. This is crazy. And it's funny, I stepped and I looked out the window across the street, Chick-fil-A, and they had cars all the way out into the street. And I said, well, I think they figured it out. They're selling chicken too. Systems. Let's talk about something else. Getting your car engine repaired is urgent. You know what that's like when you need your car today and it's not starting, it's not running, something's wrong. You don't care, you just need it to run. I have been there. That's urgent because you got stuff to do. Little Johnny's got to get to practice. Got to get to that job that you just complain about every day. Changing the oil so it doesn't need to be repaired is important. You see, there's a difference between urgent and important. Now to think about that, I need an oil change. Getting help when you are sick is urgent. You ever run yourself so much, so hard, that you're just exhausted, you've reached the point of no return, and you are down, and then you depend on other people because you are sick. You have not taken care of yourself, and urgency has now entered the picture. Taking care of yourself so you don't get sick is important. So there's the difference in some of these, the difference of urgent, the difference of important. If you do what's important now, you won't have as many things that are urgent. There's a saying that I love. It says this: lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine. Importance, urgent. Importance, urgent. We have to make the conscious decision to choose the important over the urgent. I want to look at a situation in the Bible that talks about just this. My friend Luke wrote about a story of 2 sisters. You ever heard of Mary and Martha? You ever heard of Mary and Martha? Martha does what so many of us do. Martha is overwhelmed by the urgent. She's overwhelmed by the urgent, and therefore she misses the important. We can get overwhelmed by the urgent things in our life and miss the important things. I want everybody to hear that for just a moment and let that sink in. Martha was overwhelmed by the urgent things in her life, so much so that she missed the important. Let's look here in Luke chapter 10, verse 38. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. So Martha, she's just chilling one day. She learns that Jesus is coming, and she opens up her house because she has this gift of hospitality. She loves people to come and hang out with her and feed them and love on them, and that's the woman she is. A lot of women today in our church are the exact same way. Martha opens her home up to him, and she had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. So you got Martha, who prepares the home. Everything's got to look just perfect. Everything's got to be just so. And then you have Mary, who sits down and engages in a relationship, a conversation, if you will, with Jesus. You ever have somebody coming over to your house and you go into frenzy mode because they're coming over? Don't you love that phone call when you're just sitting there on a Sunday afternoon? Sunday afternoon, everybody knows that. It's rest. That's rest. As soon as we get done with church, men, you're going to watch football. I know that. Women, you're going to rest because he's watching football. Going to make some. Ladies, you're going to watch football and he's going to rest. I know what that's like. But then you get that phone call and someone's coming by and you're like, oh, snap. Kids, quick, throw everything behind the couch. Light the candle that we never light. Act like we weren't busy. Act like we weren't isn't that funny what we'll do for appearance? Some of you are like, no, I don't get it, man. Just lay there. Come on in if you want to. I mean, you're just going to sit. Martha felt the pressure to host. So this was Jesus, though. What do you do if Jesus is coming over? Where do you throw the pillows then? What candle do you light for that? What hors d'oeuvres do you put out when Jesus is coming over? A lot of us, we love to spend time with Jesus. We would love to do that if we had more time, but there's so many urgent things to do. Martha missed the important. She missed the important because she pursued the urgent. Let's look in here at Luke 10, verse 40. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to Jesus and asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me. So Martha goes to Jesus and she says, you know what? Don't like her. She's lazy. She did nothing. Do you see this house? You have a place to sit that has no dirty laundry on it because of me, not because of her. And she goes to Jesus and says this. She tattles. She was Bella. She tattles. Martha was distracted by all the preparation. You ever been distracted in your life? Have you ever been in such a frenzy to look for something? I've done this. I can think of 2 instances. More than that has happened, but I can think of where you're running around looking for something and you're yelling at the kids, kids, get in the car. Please, just get in the car. I'll do whatever you want. Yes, you can eat that cake. Just get in the car. Has anybody seen my keys? Has anybody seen my keys? And man, you raise a ruckus. Where are my keys? And then Libby will look at it and you, Dad, are you talking about the ones with the red keychain? Yes, they're in your hand. Oh, get in the car. Get in the car. Or your cell phone. It's in your hand. It's in your pocket. You're talking on it. You know what I'm saying? You've been there. You've been distracted. How many of us, though, have been faithfully pursuing the urgent in life and totally missed what's important? Verse 41. Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you're worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or need only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. Jesus just dropped the mic on Martha. He said, woman, please. Don't go tattling on Mary when you need to look in the mirror, woman, because Mary has figured out life. Mary has figured out life. I would ask you today this question. What's the most important thing that you have been distracted from pursuing? What's the most important thing that you've been distracted from pursuing? What is it that God has put on your heart? What is it that God's put in your life? What is it that God's put in your mind, in your heart to be pursuing that you're too distracted to do? That you're too distracted to become? Maybe it's time with your kids. Maybe you wake up and you go to bed every day feeling the guilt of not spending enough time with your kids. And you catch yourself all the time looking at time hop pictures on Facebook going, oh my gosh, where did it go? When did they grow up? When in the world did Ethan become a freshman in high school? When did that happen? When did my daughter become a 10-year-old? When did that happen? Maybe for some of you, the thing that you've been too distracted from is your marriage. Work's really important. Work takes every good moment that you have, takes every positive waking moment that you have, and your marriage gets none of it. Think about that for just a minute. You give your boss the best of you and not your family. I'm not saying this to everybody in the room, I'm just talking about if that's what you relate to. Maybe it's working out. Maybe you want to work out more, but you've been just too distracted. Things are too important. Maybe you want to read. Maybe you want to journal. Maybe you want to help at church. Maybe you want to go to church more. Maybe it's a prayer life because it doesn't exist. There's just too many other pressing things in life. The Martha. How do we choose the important over the urgent? And I want to talk about that right now. How do we choose the important? Here's 3 practical responses for us to choose the important. So in your life, how do you pursue this? If you answered yes to any of these questions, your marriage, your wife, your husband, working out, your prayer life, church, if you need more time, if you want more time, here's some things that we can do. Number 1, create artificial deadlines. Artificial deadlines. You know deadlines happen. There's hard deadlines in life. If you know somebody's coming over on Friday to hang out at your house, and you invited them over for crying out loud, and now you're regretting it, you've got an inviter's remorse. And you talk to your wife and your husband, you're like, when did we invite these people over? Why did we say we would do this? And you're regretting the fact that you invited them over and your house is a mess and they're coming Friday and you're going to wait till Friday at 3 o'clock to start cleaning that house. Set up an artificial deadline that by Tuesday you're going to clean up the house, and by golly, Bella, Libby, stay in your room. I don't want to see you till Saturday. No, I'm kidding. Or whatever that is in your life. Create an artificial deadline so that it's not pressing, so that you have life. I will say my wife is really good at this. There's things that have to be done. So she's so good at like, okay, this is what's coming up. So we're going to plan out the meals. We're going to go shop. We're going to set out outfits for everyone in the family. I'm kidding. She doesn't do that. She does it for the kids and just me on one day a week. But artificial deadlines. Maybe for you, you want a vacation. Anybody out there want a vacation? Set up a deadline to do it. There is no deadline that says you have to take a vacation by this time. Set up a deadline to do it. Or else spring break's going to come, Christmas is going to come, birthday's going to come, anniversary's going to come, and guess who still hasn't taken a vacation? Guess who still hasn't done one of those things? In our life every day, there's some things that for me, I get to set my own hours. I get to set my own deadlines, but there's some things for us and our family. With Julia, some things that are important to her and me as well, is that we're going to eat together as a family as often as we can. And so if I can, there's a deadline that if you want to talk to me, if we're going to do something, you got to do it before a certain time because I'm going to go home. And I'm not going to answer my phone to the best of my ability. If it doesn't come, if your number does not come across my phone as a name that I recognize, I'm just not going to answer it. I'm not going to. So you set up these artificial deadlines. Learn to make decisions. Learn to delegate. Learn to say no. Learn to say no. We're so good at saying it to our kids. But we don't say it to the people that just take from our life. Let's practice this. No. No. You want to help serve at the church this week? No. And delegate. Learn to, man, there's things in your life that only you can do. But I mean, there's some things we're learning. We've got little slaves in our house now. I've got 3 young kids that are growing up. There's some things that they can do. There's some things that they can do. What is it in your life that only you can do? Are there things on your plate that you're doing right now that somebody else could be doing? Moms, quit killing yourself. You got a bunch of consumers in your house that can help. Boycott, go on strike. Amen. I just got the women involved, and this is just good church. Boycott it. I'm real good about with my wife. I'm like, I just don't complain about laundry. Every once in a while, I'll be like, hey, do I have socks anywhere? And she'll be like, they're downstairs. Okay, yep, I'll get them. No problem, not a problem. That's great. I'm thrilled. That's good. That's an area I'm not going to argue about. But she's really good. She'll delegate. She'll say, you know what? Monday, I've got a meeting. You're cooking dinner tonight. All right, kids, we're going to Chick-fil-A. No, I love to cook. So we'll do those things. But she'll delegate. Hey, mom doesn't have to cook every night of the week. Mom doesn't have to pick every kid up. Dad, vice versa. I know there's dads in the room that feel the same way. Delegate. Say no. Get your kids involved. Second thing that you can do, choices that you can make. Choices that you can make to choose the important. Be ruthlessly selective in your yeses. Be ruthlessly selective in what you say yes to. You don't have to say yes to everything. There are people in your life that are still going to love you if you say no. And I have found out that the people that you always say yes to, that your love, that your friendship is based on your yeses, you don't need in your life. I've helped a lot of people move. I have helped a lot of people move. And a lot of the people that I've helped move are no longer in my life. I'm done moving. I'm just done moving. If I love you and you contribute in my life, I'll help you move. But there's just the truth of the fact. Just be selective about your yeses. Say yes to the things that matter. Be prayerful of what you say yes to. My common response now, I'm getting better at this. I'm not perfect yet. My wife gave me an out. If you ask me to do something, I'm just going to start saying this. I do say this. Let me talk to Julie. Let me talk to Julie. Because you already heard me say that she's the schedule Nazi in our house. I'm the guy that's like, yeah, man, we can do that. And then I'll come home and she'll be like, why did you say yes to that? Yeah, and I'll call him back and like, yeah, my wife said no, I can't come out and play. No. But be selective in your yeses. Sometimes barriers in our life is because of overcommitment, not lack of commitment. Sometimes we hit barriers in our life, things that just these speed bumps in our life, and we feel broke down. We feel overwhelmed because of our overcommitment. Listen to this. Busyness does not necessarily mean productivity. Just because you're busy does not mean you're productive. Men, what is it at work that can wait? Did you know you can say no to your boss too? If you justify your quality, if you justify being at your office, you can say no. Busyness does not necessarily equal productivity. It doesn't necessarily equal meaningful. It doesn't necessarily equal fulfillment. We can be busy with church stuff and not be fulfilled. We can be busy with things like Martha and miss what's important. We can be busy with good things and miss the great things in our life. And I have been a victim of that with my own wife, with my own family. Something we can start doing is getting rid of a to-do list. I hate lists like this. I think we should start making a to-don't list. What are the things I'm not going to do anymore? Don't start with things your wife has asked you to do. Like that's not where you start. Other people. Other people. I get asked all the time, how do you do it, Shane? I look at your schedule, you're everywhere. I look at what you do, you're everywhere. I try to pick the things that are important to me. The things that are important to me, the things that I want to invest in. Here's a quote for you. The best leaders don't do more. The best leaders in life don't do more. They do more of what matters most. The best leaders don't just do more. They do more of what matters most. So when you're selecting your yeses, you have to have something to base it off of. What do we say yes to? As a church, things that pertain to our mission. In our household, things that are good for our family. And that seems like such a simple thing. But what is it you're saying yes to in your life that is not healthy for your family? What is it you're saying yes to that's not healthy for your walk in Christ? What is it that you're saying yes to that is not healthy in that aspect? Maybe it's a relationship with friends. Maybe it's people in your life that you're saying yes to, that you're giving a voice in your life that is causing stress, that is causing friction, that is causing things that are not healthy for you and your household. The best moms don't do more. They do more of what matters most. You know what I love about my wife? She doesn't know this, but one of the things I love about this woman, she's an amazing cook. She's amazing at housework. She's great at all those things. But you know what I love? I love that she'll stop whatever is going on in her life when my daughters say, Mom, will you lay with me? I love that. And there are many times that I'll walk upstairs and she'll be asleep in one of their beds because she does that. Mom, will you lay with me? Mom, will you spend time with me? And of all the things, that's one of the things I love to see because it matters. It matters. Some of the best teachers in the world don't do more. They do more of what matters most. They invest. It's about more than just curriculum. They invest. They do more of what matters most. Some of the best followers of Jesus do more of what matters most. They're not just busy, but they're busy with what matters most. And the third thing, practical response is to choose the important. Do first what matters most. Do first what matters most. Because here's the common response. If I have time, I'll work out. If we have time, we'll go on a date. One day, we're going to take that weekend getaway. We're going to take that vacation. We're going to do it one of these days. And you get to this point where you catch yourself saying, I wish I had time for more. I wish that we had done that. I wish that we had stopped and done that. Here's what matters in every day. Time with Jesus matters first. Because it's amazing what that does for the rest of everything else in your life. Time with Jesus matters first. Because if you are not aligning yourself with him, you are not aligning yourself with his kingdom. And therefore, you are missing the boat. Because we go back to this thought, you have time for whatever you choose to have time for. And we have to focus on doing what matters most first. Jesus is first. We have to realign with him every day first. Matthew 6:33 says, seek him first. Seek him first. Doesn't say go and scramble and try and do everything else in your life and then come to Jesus because it didn't work out. It says seek him first. Seek him first. We seek everything else first and wonder why we are so unfulfilled. We seek everything else in the world first and then wonder why we are not fulfilled. If I had just had time to be part of a small group, we just don't have time. We don't have time in our life to lead a small group. We don't have time in our life because, you know what? All these other things are so important. All these other things are so important. We seek everything else first. And what we get caught doing is reacting to what everyone else wants first instead of realigning ourselves with Jesus. We react to what everyone else wants. Well, you have to be good at initiating and putting your calendar together based on your values and based on importance. And that right there, my calendar Nazi wife is so good at that. She's one of those people that she'll evaluate the calendar and look, this is what we had, this is what we had. Don't say yes to anything else. This is where we're at. Yes, ma'am. These are the things that are based on our value system. I like this philosophy too. Choose people over perfection. Choose people over perfection. I've got some good friends that are sitting here today, and we reached this point with them, and I knew that we had good friends, and we reached this point with them. Sean and Beverly Davis. I'm calling you out in a good way. We became good friends with these guys first, and I love it because I know exactly where I sit with Beverly Davis. Man, there's no question, concern. If it's in her head, it's coming out. So I love it. But we started hanging out with them. And I remember the first couple times we went over there, I just remember this day where we came over, and all of a sudden, when we were going to eat dinner with them, they cleared off the dining room table or the kitchen table. And I looked at them because every other time we just kind of sat down. We had community, man. We sat on the couch, watched some TV. We ate dinner together, and it was just chillax, It was just easy. And then there was this one time we come over, and they want to sit at the table. And I said, what do we do? When do we become these people that we have to act like civilized and sit at the table? We were friends, and now we're acquaintances. What happened? And okay, we just thought it'd be nice. I love eating at a table, but I just loved the casual part of that it was it didn't matter. We mattered. Just the simplicity, the simple fact that we mattered. Your house does not have to be perfect if I come over. There's some people in this room that you believe it has to be. Oh, good God, the pastor's coming over. And you threaten your kids within an inch of their life. And for some of you, it's your pastor and your principal. People are going, why did we invite these people? What did we do? It doesn't have to be perfect. Choose people over perfection. I can remember before we had kids, before Julie and I had kids, man, I was workaholic. And I was doing good things. I'd be at the church all hours of the day till late in the night because, man, I just wanted things to be perfect. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It never felt like a job to me. And I had this really good mentor that spoke into my life, and he showed me how what I was doing was I was putting this image, this thought over my relationship. And work, in the eyes of my wife, had become like another woman. It was getting my time. It was getting something that she valued, my time. It was getting the good hours of my day. It was getting my attention. Why will you do all this there, and then you come home and this is what I get, the scraps? And it slapped me in the face. I hope you have a good mentor in your life that tells you that points that out. Because here's the truth, your identity is not in what you produce, it's in who you are. Choose people over perfection. Martha chose the urgent. Mary chose the important. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her, Scripture says. So today, as we close out, I encourage you first to do what is important over what's urgent. Let's pray.